Sean Schemmel, scream your throat out. Sean Schemmel was just talking about Dragon Ball Super's return at an anime convention, and he let out a couple little things that I think a lot of you guys do not know, and I was surprised to hear about when it comes to not only how much knowledge he has of the Dragon Ball Super manga, but also what happens when Dragon Ball Super finally returns. And I feel like he knows a little bit something that we don't know when it comes to this interview, I guess, convention. Now, it was not on my 2025 bingo card that I would think that Sean Schemmel would be talking about Dragon Ball Super's returning, and I think that it is all coinciding with exactly what is coming out from the Dragon Ball Super manga camp, especially with Toyotaro talking about the manga returning. I do believe that we are about to start eating good here in the near future, if not by the end of this year. And whether it be the Dragon Ball Super manga or an anime or a movie being announced, something is better than what we have right now, which is absolutely nothing. So I'm glad to hear that there is actually something in the works seemingly right now, and Sean Schemmel let out a little bit of information here in this interview that I feel like everybody should definitely check out. So let's go ahead and jump into this interview. But first, on this channel we focus on versus battles and cross multiversal events. But realistically, you could do this on your own with a little help from the sponsor of today's video, PolyBuzz. You guys tired of boring chatbots that feel extremely robotic and have no personality? Well, today I have the pleasure of working with PolyBuzz Chat with AI Friends, the app that redefines how we talk to AI. PolyBuzz lets you chat with hundreds of AI characters, each with realistic voices, unique personalities, and replies that seem extremely human. From your favorite celebrities to iconic movie characters and even famous figures from history, every conversation feels like you're texting the real deal. Powered by the advanced conversation AI, these bots don't just talk, they think, joke, roast, and bond with you. It's like having a pocket multiverse of best friends and possibly rivals. Click the link in the description or the top comment to download PolyBuzz now. Start chatting with AI that actually feels real. Trust me, this isn't just the future, it's literally already here. Use my exclusive promo code BLACK88 when you sign up.
And Toyotaro is blessed by Akira Toriyama Sensei because he's quoted as saying he's the only guy that draws like Akira Toriyama Sensei. So he's got that sanction, and so I think it's legit and an awesome. And I think the story on Super is just fantastic. What I know about Granola and Moro and Frieza Black, etc. I know a little bit, right? And I'm ready.
So first of all, Schemmel talking about the inner workings of what is going on behind the scenes with Toyotaro and Toriyama giving Toyotaro the green light to be that guy that draws similar to him, which I don't believe Toyotaro draws similar to Toriyama at all, to be honest with you. I think that Toyotaro really has a more edgy and detailed type of drawing style, while Toriyama is more flowy and it almost feels windswept, you know what I'm saying? They're both not something that are very similar to one another, but the one thing that I really like that he's talking about here is that he knows about Granola, he knows about Moro, he knows about Frieza Black, which honestly is the funniest way to say Frieza, to say Black Frieza, because I've been saying Black Frieza since he was announced, right? All of you guys have, but I gotta remember, in, I would say, Sean Schimmel's world, or somebody who maybe just watches the anime or knows about the anime, I mean, when you see Black in the title, you're thinking Goku Black. You don't call him Black Goku, so why would you call it Black Frieza? Frieza Black makes more sense, but I like the fact that he is ready. He's saying that he's ready to get on with whatever happens next. To me, that feels like we are going toward Moro, or we're going to Granola, specifically Granola, Moro, all those. I think that that may be on the horizon for the continuity of Dragon Ball Super, because right now we are 3 chapters ahead, or 3 arcs ahead, essentially, of the anime specifically, not the movies, the anime. So they have so much content to make episodes out of that I don't see why they couldn't do this.
My fear is the following. Here's my fear. Look, I go hard, I go high, I go loud as far as I can. I don't know how much further I can go, and I don't know what they're going to do with that animation, you know what I mean? And so I'm like always thinking, how am I going to go further beyond? How am I going to go, you know, and I'll get there when the animation gets there. But the trick with Goku Ultra Instinct is I have not done a lot of dialogue in that voice. And that voice, when I do that voice, the way I interpret the character is he's now become Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's one with everything, right? So he's got to sound kind of like, you know, these aren't the droids they're looking for, but he needs to be still sound not boring. And so I've only had a little dialogue, and so I'm waiting to see how that pans out so I can perfect that voice, because I've done it in the video games, I did it in the series a bit, but I haven't had the opportunity to really flesh it out, and so I'm a little nervous about that. I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Him talking about the voice, honestly, that to me is something that I never would have even thought, because I feel like, right, we've heard Master Ultra Instinct or Ultra Instinct Goku in English several times over. We've heard him in the anime. There are various video games that have that voice dialogue coming from him, and he just worked on Sparking Zero with it. So to me, I was surprised that he even said this, that he was worried about it, and that actually shows that he is understanding of what it will take to get to that voice range, to be able to talk like Ultra Instinct or Master Ultra Instinct Goku, because of what he's seen. Because in the Moro arc, we get an entire half a chapter with him being consistently in Master Ultra Instinct to the point where he gets perfected, and he's able to go into his Susanos and things like that. And he does talk very kind of like monotone and like masterful, but at the same time still Goku. And then when we go into Granola, he does the same thing again, but this time he kind of pulls back a little bit and just kind of does Omen. So I'm wondering right here what he's talking about specifically. And I think that he's seen, and he's definitely read, at least some portions of the manga where he sees that there's a lot of dialogue with Master Ultra Instinct Goku, and he knows that there is a lot riding on him so to make that voice. So he's a little bit worried about it, and I think that is just a very, very human element to voice acting that I would have never even thought of.
Very excited about it. I'm really curious. Chris and I, when we were first working on Super, we thought, are Goku and Vegeta being groomed to be the new gods of creation and destruction with Whis and Beerus? And it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, they're hinting at that.
Yeah, soon.
We thought about that in 2018. Chris and I were talking about that in 18 and 19.
Yeah, that was before like Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego.
Yeah, and I call that Ultra Ego, and I draw a waffle when I sign. If I see Chris sign as Ultra Ego, I'll write Ultra Ego and draw a waffle, because I think that's funny. But yeah, we had predicted that from the get-go. We weren't sure how it was going to pan out, but Chris and I had conversations about this in 18 and 19, I think maybe in 12, before that, maybe in 17, depends when we started Super. And so we were curious about how that happens. And I'm really excited to hopefully finish it someday.
So here's something that, honestly, all us Dragon Ball fans from the very beginning, probably back in Dragon Ball Super, maybe when they were training with Whis and Beerus, we thought that there was going to be some sort of switch up, that one of them was going to become Goku or Vegeta, was going to become a god of destruction at some level, ultimately ending with what we see now, where Ultra Ego is basically Vegeta harnessing destruction power under Beerus. Ultra Instinct is Goku doing the exact same thing with angelic or divine power under Whis, and that's exactly what they've predicted. Now, is he saying that that's going to be the future of Dragon Ball? I don't know. I think that we are so far beyond that point because we haven't even gotten to the end of Z. So having like an end game where they take these spots from other characters like Beerus or Whis, I mean maybe not Whis but just Beerus, I think that is too far into the future, but there's always a possibility. And actually it's pretty cool to see that some of the voice actors were thinking the exact same thing that we were thinking all those years ago.
Honestly, I don't know anything. If I did know, I'd say I know and I can't tell you, but I don't know. And you will find out before me. Here's how it happens. Toei will make an announcement. Somebody will get my Instagram. I'll go, hey, Sean, Super's coming back. I'm like, it is? And then I'll call my producer. Is Super coming back? And he goes, I don't know. I haven't heard anything from Japan. And then a few months later, he goes, yeah, it's coming back. We're going to do it. Like, that's how it's going to go down. You're all going to know before me. You're all going to know before me. But I would love to know first. They just don't trust that I wouldn't tell you, which I won't, but, you know.
Okay, he's fucking lying. He's lying. He knows. Not only does he know something now, but the reason that he said that whole thing where he doesn't really know things, everybody else knows before him, and then he'll know, is he's saying this specifically because he doesn't want to get asked these questions anymore. So he's preventing those questions from being asked beforehand by saying he doesn't really know anything before any information actually comes out. Now, is there a possibility he's telling the truth where he's saying, oh, because it's Japan and they don't tell him anything and he doesn't really look into that stuff? Could be a possibility, yes. But he is a working actor. He knows when his next meal ticket's coming in. Trust me on that. And so he definitely hears things, and but he doesn't want to lie. And a lot of celebrities, especially from Marvel, the MCU, they've lied, or they especially with the whole Spider-Man thing, like Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield, anyone lying about Spider-Man, or even just them talking about Doctor Doom now. Like, there's a lot of misinformation and lying that goes along with what's going on here. With Hollywood, and he's just preemptively trying to go in and be like, okay, guys, don't ask me any questions because I don't know anything. He absolutely does. I guarantee you he does, and I guarantee he does know something now. That's why he's saying it, so nobody asks him questions. And so I think that, this was a very, very interesting interview. That was the end of it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Sean Schemmel knows more than what he's saying or what he's letting on? Let me know in the comments.